So one of the things you realize about narcissistic abuse is that towards the end of the relationship, the narcissist is not willing to tell you the whole story. You know that period of the devaluation stage when you guys are going through the devaluation. They don't want to tell you anything. So they don't want to tell you any story. They don't want to tell you what is behind the story. Because the only thing you hear, you're crap, you have failed this relationship, you have done this or you have done that. Even sometimes they are accusing you of cheating. And yet actually they're the ones that are cheating. So they're accusing you of things you haven't done. Now, of course, as a person who has been traumatized over time with a narcissist, you need answers, okay? You need to know what is going on. You want to find out. Now, most of the times, this pushes somebody into a desperate situation where they may sometimes run off, ask some neighbors, they may turn to their aunties, they may turn to some family members, some of them may go and you are going to be desperate. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. A narcissist is going to put you in the desperate situation where you are going to desperately seek for answers. You really want to know what is going on. So for me, that time, it took me about, let me say, like 2 months, maybe 1.5, to figure it out. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing I didn't do. I did everything. I asked everybody. I talked to family members. I went around in circles. I did everything to find out the truth. You see, that is one of the most powerful qualities about truth tellers. If a person who is about the truth, you are either going to seek the truth or you're going to speak the truth. One of the two is going to happen. Sometimes it's going to happen. Both of them will happen. You will be a truth seeker and you will be a truth teller. So as a truth seeker, what normally happens, especially the guys that are going through abuse, they're going around looking for the truth. So on one beautiful day, it was my time. It was my time. It was my turn. Then that's when I met Queen Holiday online. Okay, this channel just popped out of nowhere. Queen Holiday, and Queen Holiday. He was talking about the triangulation. That moment when the narcissist is simply triangulating you with other people and putting you in competition, all that kind of stuff. And for me, that was my triggering moment to wake up. So that's when I knew, oh, okay, so these people they are talking about is called the narcissist. So that thing pushed me in a very deep state of confusion at the time. So I was like, oh, what is this guy talking about? This guy looks like he's talking about my partner at the time, So I was like, oh, I need to get, who is this person? So I got curious about Queen Holiday. So that's when all these other videos of Queen Holiday and other coaches. I remember also Narc Survivor, and there was, I think, Dr. Ramani at the time as well. So those videos started popping up. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I could not believe what I was watching. I couldn't believe my eyes. So that was my triggering moment to awaken. But everything started with the urge to seek the truth. Okay, I was tired of the lies. I was seeing all these lies. I was seeing this. That's the moment I understood. So normally in the devolution stage, the narcissist, that mask will slip all the way down. Okay, so when that mask slips, it feels like they're no more trying to hide that mask because they've been already hiding that mask for so many years. So now what they are doing, they are trying to show you who they are. Okay, they are opening themselves up to you, that demon behind the mask. So they are bringing out that demon in them. You are really seeing that demon. In the devaluation stage is where normally you see that the exact demon that you married so many years ago. But as much as they are punishing you, because the devaluation is also a punishment, they're not also ready and willing to tell you the truth. So they are still concealing the idea that you're being abused. They will abuse, but still conceal the idea that you're being abused. So you actually still don't know that you're being abused, but you feel that you're being abused. So it's sending this, it's pushing you in a very deep state of desperation, where you are, you want to know what is going on, okay? You are really desperate to know what is happening. So many empaths and victims of abuse, what they normally do, when there's nobody to ask, because even at that point in time, there's nobody to ask. Maybe that time you're isolated, okay, you cannot call anyone, nobody's coming around, nobody knows what you're going through. Even your parents don't believe you. Sometimes you may turn to your parents and you're telling your parents, listen, oh, this person is abusing and this and this. So you're trying to explain to people what your exact situation is going on. So you're trying to tell them what is happening. And it feels like nobody believes you, nobody understands you. And especially the people that are not aware about abuse. The only people that will be able to help you or to listen to you are the people that are familiar. They are familiar with narcissistic abuse. But most of the cases, for most of the victims, it is very few cases that you will quickly run into somebody who knows the truth, although it will still happen. So that's when you turn to the internet. Now, I do appreciate Google, okay? I really do appreciate Google, because I don't know, if it wasn't for Google at the time, I don't know what I would have done. I didn't know what I was dealing with. I don't know where it was going to end, but you'd best believe, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you the situation had already gotten out of hand. It was beyond repair. That is how serious it was. So I went to Google that time and I started seeking answers. And of course, there was these other life coaches I started seeing, you know. So that's what you normally see. Because you see, when you're going to move to a different, um, dimension, there is so much chaos, okay? It feels like there's a lot of chaos going on around you and you don't even know what is going on. It's like your soul is being dragged to get out of that old consciousness. You're being dragged to the next level of consciousness. So there is a very huge tower moment going on. And because you are extremely confused, you now need to know what is going on around you. So you're asking about your partners, you're asking about your boss at work, you're asking about your landlord. You want to know what is happening because you see something extremely disturbing about these particular individuals. You really need to know the truth. So that's when you go to Google. You know, I'm really, really grateful to Google, because at the time, ladies and gentlemen, I can promise you, I didn't know what was going to happen next. If I did not get that answer in that particular month, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I would be here teaching you things. So, you know, the coaches came up talking about relationships, some of them talking about cheating, but still I was like, I wasn't satisfied. There was still that feeling that there's more, there's something else, there's more. I was looking for it. I was really desperately looking for it. I knew that there was more behind the scenes. So I really wanted to find out what was going on. So I kept on looking, coach after coach, this after this, relationship coaches, marriage coaches, breakup coaches. There's another breakup coach I was seeing, who was actually teaching people to reunite after breakups. You know, so there are some of those coaches, you know, when you've been discarded or whatever, broken up, they don't even know sometimes you've been broken up with a narcissist. They are trying to reunite you with your ex, get back to your ex, those kind of bullshit. So, which is okay. If you're dealing with a healthy person, maybe there's a chance you can always get back together and maybe rekindle the relationship. Sometimes it can happen. You know, it may work in normal case scenarios. But me, sometimes when I'm listening to some coaches who are advising you to go back to your toxic ex, there's a very big chance those coaches are narcs. They're narcissists themselves. They don't even understand what is going on. So, Google opened my eyes, okay? Because, of course, eventually from Google, that's when you connect to YouTube. All these things are connected. So Google will bring to you some links, and then you click on that link, and then this, and then this. So that's when I figured out this whole web of lies. But I knew at the end of that situationship, I knew there was something disturbing about this person. There was something very wrong about this person. I did just don't know the word. And that is what was pushing me to find out who was this person I was dealing with. Because the only thing I used to hear, like from friends, some other people, family members, that person is crazy. How can she do this? How can they do this? How can they do that? They are crazy. They are crazy. So that's the only thing I used to hear, that they are crazy. But me, I knew this thing what I was looking for was not the crazy one. There was something else. So I knew that there was something else. I was looking for that word. So, and then one day, bam, narcissist. Guys, you cannot believe the feeling I got that moment. When I finally found the word to this BS. When I finally found out, so a lot of you empaths who are going through abuse, you'll do the same thing. You'll go to Google and ask Google, ask Google this, ask Google that, and ask Google this. Because Google will always answer your questions. A lot of them, it will answer your questions. Most of them, it will. Because you see, back in the days, when people were going through abuse, nobody even knew what narcissism was. So maybe people thought it was some kind of domestic violence, or so people didn't really understand that there was this thing called narcissism and everything. So people only could understand domestic violence. But the moment information started coming out, of course, the internet and there's these online things and stuff, that's when now a lot of these people, coaches, started coming out and putting all this narcissism online. But normally, nobody knew about this narcissism way back in time. So many of you guys, you will go. So if you're a partner out there who is you're going through turmoil, there's this turmoil moment happening at home, the evaluation, your partner seems like they have run berserk. And you cannot even figure out what is going on with them. You are asking Google, you are typing in things, you are asking about this, you're asking about, and that moment is very desperate. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you something. In that particular moment, you will realize you are very desperate. You need that answer. You need it because you are living with this person for 10 years, 15 years, 14 years. You have just had enough and you need an answer. And the most disturbing thing, the narcissist is going to keep their mouth shut. They're not going to tell you what is going on. They will not tell you that they're abusing you. They have already brainwashed you for those years. That's why you stayed with them for a very long time. So they are brainwashing you that this is normal. So they will kind of normalize that situation, that they abuse. They can abuse you, or they can say dirty things to you, and they can get away with it. You won't say anything and stuff like that. But at the end, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be desperate because you understand there is something really, really messed up. You need to know what is going on with this BS. So when you're the person who is out there, you're Googling things, you are in for the big surprise. Okay? You are in for the biggest shocker. That shocker will trigger you to wake up. Because you see, there is two things upon learning the truth. You see, the truth sets you free. So for me, is the truth what set me free. Okay? When I knew the truth, I was like, okay, I cannot deal with an emotional vampire. I cannot deal with an energy vampire. I cannot deal with an abusive, manipulative individual. The only thing I need to do is walk away. Okay? So the truth set me free. So what I'm trying to say is that most of the cases, you will have cases where the truth was going to be slapped in your face. So Google is going to slap the truth in your face. That's the thing with Google. Google doesn't mind who is on the other side. Whatever it is you type in, it will bring it on the page. Whatever it is you type in, you want to know, Google will bring you the answers. It doesn't care who is on the other side. So if you're the person on that side now, you're going to be the one who is going to receive that truth. But that truth, it will be a truth like no other you ever had before. So you're about to be surprised. You're about to get the biggest shocker of your life. You are very close going to unmask a narcissist the moment you start asking those questions. Because you see, the reason why empaths are normally seeking those answers is because empaths have usually been asleep for the longest period of time. So they have been like unplugged for years. There is empaths who have been unplugged for 10 years. The narcissist, what they first did, the very first thing they did, which is why I always tell you guys that this thing is spiritual. They have unplugged you out of consciousness, and they have put you very deep into that sunken space where you can never be able to tap into your spiritual self, because it is your spiritual self which actually gives you the answers and the directions to life. So they have unplugged you from your spiritual self. So they have put you where they are. So now they can be able to put you on their level and be able to manipulate you deeper. So that's how they operate. Okay, it's on a very spiritual level. And when you feel like your soul is drowning, because being in that sunken space, when you're going through narcissistic abuse, it feels like your soul is actually drowning. You are like drowning. You want to, it's like you're trying to throw your hand, somebody could hold your hand and pull you out of that sunken space, but it feels like you cannot get out. So it's a very very low state of consciousness, whereby you are completely unplugged from your higher self. And how it feels on a spiritual level is like you need somebody to save you. You're hoping somebody can walk around that sunken space and see you, maybe hear you cries, and maybe put a hand or put a rope for you so that you can climb out. And you cannot actually climb out of that sunken space. It's a very dangerous place to be. So it's why you hear a lot of times coaches are telling you that narcissism is the worst form of abuse you'll ever experience on this universe. Because you see why? Not only on the physical level, but on the spiritual level, you are under spiritual warfare. You're going through spiritual warfare. You are dealing with demons, okay? You're dealing with demons. Those demons, they need your soul, okay? They need your soul. But like I'm saying, when you're in that sunken space, you feel like this, you're crying, but nobody can hear you. You are screaming, you're crying. Sometimes you want to leave. You cannot leave because there's this trauma bond now. You're very deeply trauma bonded with this individual. You don't know how to leave them. They have trapped you in this bubble. Sometimes there could be mortgages. Sometimes you may have car financing. Sometimes you may have loans, different types of credits, because that's what they have been doing over time, so that they can even trap you further into that bondage. So that's what they normally do, to trap their victims for longer periods of time, because the longer they trap you, the better for them, okay? Because they know that they can still have you and use you whenever they want to. But when they feel that, okay, so there's nothing left to give, no more energy, no more fuel, no more supply, then they can always dump you and they run off with somebody else who has got fresh supply, and somebody who doesn't even know anything, the one that is green as you were in the early stages. So as your soul cries and yearns for help, you're figuring out, and I'm even hoping, because there are some other countries, like for example, deep down in Africa, there's no internet. They don't have internet. You can imagine, sometimes you can even feel sorry for those people. So the people that in the West are privileged to have, internet access and stuff like that. But there's people who are very deep in the village. They are going through abuse, and nobody can hear them. They are screaming. They don't even know where to ask. They don't know who to ask. So they are in a very bad space. I do feel for those people. But for the ones who are, with the internet access, they're out there getting some answers, seeking answers, So those are the ones that have got the access to break free. So that's why you see, normally this narcissism is very common. And I could say it's pretty much a language you can hear everywhere around Europe, okay? Of course, not everybody, but still you can at least hear something or even see something and understand something. But there is people who don't have this access. And those are the guys, you find them, they are trapped for years. Sometimes you hear about people they passed on, they couldn't handle this. Sometimes they passed on, maybe some of them committed suicide, because those demons want you to kill yourself. I'm going to do a whole video on that as well. They want you to kill yourself, and that's how they win. They know that they have been able to break down this empath, and for them it's victory. Okay? You are about to get the biggest surprise of your life, ladies and gentlemen. The moment you start sitting down behind your computer and seeking some very serious answers, you are going to seek and you're going to find out the truth. That truth is going to trigger you to wake up. So the moment you start asking Google, be prepared for anything. Okay? You could discover narcissism, you could discover psychopathy, you could discover sociopathy, you could discover different traits of people that you may understand you're dealing with in that particular time. But that is going to be the beginning of your truth, because that is exactly what is going to set you free. Freedom starts with seeking the truth, and of course taking some action again towards that truth. So let's know what you think about the video, guys, in the comment section below. You guys do know I do love and appreciate your support. You can book a session with me if you want to. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will catch you guys in my next one. There's Amos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.